simply because this work that I'm doing is my absolute passion. And it's my absolute passion because I have been where you are now. I gained tinnitus in October 2005 when I woke up in the morning to find I'd lost my hearing on one side and gained tinnitus instead. The hearing loss never came back and my tinnitus never went away. Like many people, I was sent to ENT and the audiology team. And while they were great at helping me to sort out my hearing loss and provided technology to help with that, and also some, psychological support as well in terms of getting used to my hearing loss, the tinnitus was a whole different matter. I was sent away, told there was nothing that they could see that was causing it, no benign tumour, which is what they often check for, but that I just needed to learn to manage it, which is not really very helpful, to be honest, when you're finding the condition deeply distressing. And I did find it deeply distressing. I really, really suffered a lot with my tinnitus. There was not a part of my life that it didn't affect. So I struggled at work. I was a writer and I was extremely distracted by the noises going on in my head. I couldn't concentrate. I was irritable with my colleagues, though I tried not to be. For the same reason, I struggled with doing a lot of the things I used to enjoy in my leisure time. So reading, writing, going to the theatre, that kind of thing, because again, the noises in my head were very distracting. And my life with my family and my friends suffered as well. I was short-tempered and irritable because I had this intrusive noise in my head. I started to change what I was prepared to do. So I didn't want to go to the cinema anymore, which was something my husband and I loved to do, because I was really scared about what that volume, that low rumbling noise that you often get, and it's so much you can feel it in your chest. I was really worried about how that would affect me and my tinnitus. I didn't want to go out to noisy pubs or bars. I even shied away from coffee shops because they were grinding coffee, and I found that noise really distressing and worried what it was going to do to my tinnitus. And of course, like many people, I was struggling to sleep. I was struggling to get to sleep because of the noise that became so much more obvious when I was in the quiet of the bedroom, particularly if I put my hearing ear to the pillow, then I was effectively completely deaf and the tinnitus noises in my head just amplified. Once I eventually got to sleep, chances are I would wake up in the middle of the night for one reason or another, and then I would struggle to get to sleep again. So I was functioning on very little sleep. So I have been where a lot of people are, where you are on your tinnitus journey. I know how much of an impact it has on everyday life, how it percolates into every part of your life. So you're trying to function on less sleep, you're frustrated and angry about having tinnitus, you're irritable with other people. I also struggled with both anxiety and depression. So I was anxious about how I could cope with this in the future. You think ahead. I was in my mid-30s when I first got it, and you think, crikey, I could be living 50 years with this. How can I manage? And I got depressed as well. I got depressed about thinking about the future, but I also got depressed about all the stuff that I felt I could no longer do because of the tinnitus, all the socializing we used to do, going to music gigs, going to the cinema, that kind of thing. It felt like part of my life had been removed. It felt like tinnitus had robbed me of a good portion of the fun stuff in my life. Then I stumbled across mindfulness, not for tinnitus, but in the context of a chronic pain condition that I've got. So I went on an 8-week course, which was focused very much around pain. and found it incredibly useful. The practices, the philosophy, the way of thinking, all of it really resonated with me and really helped me to manage my approach to living with a chronic pain condition. But I'm embarrassed to say how long it took for me to realize that actually the principles that I'd learned on this mindfulness for pain course could, with adaptation, help me with my tinnitus. But once I twigged that, once I got that, I thought, wow, okay. So I went back to my notes, I went back to everything I'd learned and thought, how can I apply this to tinnitus? And then I started doing more research. I went on a training course to be a mindfulness teacher. I looked at all different courses around. I looked at all the different kind of practices. And I looked not just at mindfulness, but also at self-compassion, which I think is a very important part of our tinnitus healing journey. The end result is that I am trained as an accredited mindfulness teacher, and I created from scratch a mindfulness course specifically for people who are struggling with tinnitus and hyperacusis, which is something that I also have to a degree. And the result of all of that is that I go to the cinema, I go to music gigs, when we're allowed out, because I'm filming this during lockdown. I don't mind where we go. I am coping with noisy restaurants, coffee shops with the coffee grinders really close to me. I'm able to concentrate on reading and writing. I can cope in the quiet of the bedroom and go to sleep quite easily, and I can get back to sleep when I need to. And that's all because of all of these mindfulness practices and techniques and the approach to life that it encourages. I tried in those 9 years before I discovered mindfulness, everything there was to try to get rid of my tinnitus. You name it, acupuncture, herbalism, homeopathy, various tablets that were on the market, anything that I could find on Google that might help me, I tried. Nothing worked. It obviously didn't get rid of my tinnitus, but it didn't even really alleviate it either. Mindfulness is what has made the difference to me. I still have tinnitus, sure. I live with tinnitus, but it doesn't control my life. It's there, but it's just there amongst many other things I have. Like I have red hair and I have skin that burns easily in the sun, so tinnitus is kind of like that, way back in the back of my mind, just one of those things that happens to exist. And that's what mindfulness can do. It can help you normalize tinnitus, get to the point where it's just a part of your life rather than being the boss of your life. It empowers you to take control of how you want your life to be. It helps you to take control of how you want your relationships to be, how you want to work, how you want to spend your free time. And it no longer dictates what you can and cannot do. So if that sounds intriguing, then please visit my website at thehearingcoach.com. And if you want to know whether mindfulness might be something you might gel with, that might resonate with you as a practice, we've got a quiz called What's Your Buzz quiz, and that gives you a good idea whether mindfulness might be a good fit. There are details on the course there. But importantly, there's also a money-back guarantee. If you do the mindfulness course and you don't get any benefit from it, then I give you your money back, no question. Because I know that mindfulness, whilst helpful for so many people, isn't necessarily right for absolutely everybody. And one thing I am very, very passionate about is not taking money off people for something that doesn't do them any good. There are a lot of people out there that are keen to take money to help people with tinnitus. I firmly believe that mindfulness can help you with tinnitus, but if you find that's not the case, you will have just invested some time, but you'll have your money back. So again, if you're interested, then go to my website at thehearingcoach.com or drop me an email, lisa@thehearingcoach.com.